But when you're writing about nonfiction, like a research project, you use APA format. And there's not a huge difference between the two. It's just kind of like minor nuances and differences between them. But what we're going to be focusing on is APA format. What part of APA format we're going to be focusing on, because APA format is everything from like where to put your page number to how to title it and all of that. But we're just going to be focusing on how to cite sources in APA format, okay? So we've got to talk about the reference page and we've got to talk about those in-text citations. So first, the reference page looks a little bit like this. And it's that page that comes at the very end with a list of all of your sources. So this first one that I have right here is the formula that you use to create those citations, okay? So all you have to do is take this information from your source and plug it into this formula. So you start with the author. So you'll do their last name, comma, their first initial, and then you have a period. Then in parentheses, you put the year that it was published, and then another period. After that, you have the article or page title and a period. And then in italics, you put the larger publication title and a period. Then you have retrieved from and then the URL, and then that's it for your citation. So underneath of this formula, I've got two examples of what this looks like. So I've got the author, the year it was published, the title of the article, the website that it came from, retrieved from, and then the link. Now the second one down here didn't have an author. It just said that it was by Rolling Stone. So when you don't have an author, you can just use that publication as the author instead. So if this one didn't have an author, I could have said Cinema Blend in the beginning in place of the author instead. Okay, so I've got Rolling Stone, 2012, John Mayer, Taylor Swift's Dear John Song Humiliated Me, Rolling Stone, retrieved from, and the website. So all your references page is plugging in the information from each of your sources into that formula and listing it down the page. Okay, so one quick note, you do not need to memorize this formula, okay? So this is something that you can always return back to, look up, figure it out, because once you have that formula in front of you, it's really easy to plug things in. So do not stress out about trying to memorize how to do this. It's not something you're going to be quizzed on or whatever. It's just the format that you should put your citations in, okay? So as long as you know how to find and use this formula, that's all you need. You don't have to memorize it, okay? So once you have this references page done and you've got them all written out, it's super easy to go back and create those in-text citations because it uses information from this reference. So we're going to be focused on the last name and the publication year. So for your in-text citations, you are going to have the author's last name, comma, the year, comma, the page number. So because we are working on internet sources, we aren't going to have the page number and we're going to end our citations right after the year. So for example, we've got the quote from the text, and then right after it, in parentheses, we've got the author's last name, or in this case, the publication, because there was no author on that one, and then 2012. So we've got Rolling Stone, 2012. When you change the structure of your sentence, the structure of your citation changes as well. So if you were to say Rolling Stone states, and then the quote, you would not have to cite the author because you already said it as part of your sentence, but you would still have to put that year it was published right after the author's name. Okay, so in this example, the citation just came after the quote, but since I'm talking about the author here, I'm going to put my year citation after the author. This third example shows you what this would look like if the quote was not at the end of your sentence. So I might say, Swift and Mayer were romantically linked before the song's release, indicating that Dear John may be a breakup song written about Mayer. So this second part of the sentence is my own idea. It's not taken from the source. But this first part was taken from the source. So I've got that in quotation marks. And right after is where I put my citation. So your citation follows your quote. It doesn't just go at the end. Okay, so again, just like that reference page, this is not something you have to memorize. Is it helpful to know that your in-text citations are the author's last name and the publication year? Absolutely, that would make your job easier. But you do not have to memorize this, okay? Especially because it changes if you do MLA versus APA. So it's always going to depend on what format you're using. For our purposes, we're using APA. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, so what you guys are going to do today is create those citations for your sources that you found earlier this week. So in your sources assignment, you've got this blue column 6, and it says to write the in-text citations and the reference page citation. Underneath of that, you've got 2 resources to help you out with that. You've got my slides for today, if you want to just pull that up and look back at the slide to show you the formula so that you can just plug that in. And then you've also got this citation style chart. So if you're using a source that is not an internet source, like a book or a magazine or whatever, you can use that style chart to show you what the formulas for that particular type of source is. Okay, so all you guys are doing today is writing your references and in-text citations for each of your sources. And at that point, your whole document should be done and you should be able to submit it.